Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Real Franchise, a video series designed to deliver real information, real answers, and real insights into franchising. The series is brought to you by James Home Services Australia. I'm the CEO, and we have a new face with us today, Sonia, who is one of our business coaches. Sonia, welcome to The Real Franchise. This is not your first rodeo. You have actually featured in a previous episode when you were chatting with Greg and Gina, business owners on the Sunshine Coast, about their experience. But today you sit in the hot seat with a very different hat on. You are one of our business coaches for the head office team. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Yep. What I first want to talk about is, how did you first get involved with James? And you have quite the history. How long have you been involved with James Home Services?
Sure. That is now 15 and a half years. So, yes, we commenced with James on the 8th of February 2010. I remember the date. I remember it well.
Why do you remember it so well?
It was life-changing. It really was life-changing. Justin and I flew down to the Sunshine Coast, left our young children with someone to look after them for 2 weeks. Wow. While we did training at James' head office with Robert James. We were farming at the time, just beef cattle and Christmas trees. And I was working part-time with a disability support coordination unit as a program coordinator. Justin was working with a not-for-profit organisation at that time, and we were looking for something to do different and something together. The opportunity came up with James Home Services. It was actually an opportunity that Justin was looking at to do with some business partners of ours, and they unanimously agreed it was probably better suited to a husband-wife couple and that it would suit Justin and I. And here we are. 15 years later, we purchased a regional franchise at that stage. It's been a journey. Over that time, we both worked in a capacity of information, walking people through an information process, that whole sales process. And then as we built a team, we needed a business coach. So I stepped into that role, purely because it's my passion. Human behaviour coaching, working with people. Most roles that I've had have been help roles. So it's
part of you at this stage. Helping people is very much part of your makeup. I do want to come back to that, but first I want to rewind. What did it feel like getting on that plane to fly to the sunny coast for 2 weeks of training? How nervous were you on a scale of 1 to 10?
I can't recall being nervous. I just remember being super excited about this new adventure. I certainly was nervous about how my children would go with their babysitter. More, how was the babysitter going to survive? But no, it was just a really super exciting adventure, something new. What really appealed to us was, I remember speaking to the guy who came and sat with us on our veranda and took us through the information process just like we do now on Zoom. And I said to him, I don't just want a business that I can work in. I want a business that I know I can introduce someone to, and they can scale and they can grow, they can change their life, they can put staff on, their families can be involved. I want to know this is going to be bigger than just someone going to work every day. And on that premise, when we could see that we could help other people do that, that's what really sold us with this business. I think that's what really just keeps us going now, the lives that are transformed and changed through what we offer and what we do every day. So, just excited actually
That's really nice to hear, because so many of our new business owners, you do 8 steps now in your role, which is our business management training component, and so do I, and so many of our new business owners, they do start with an awful lot of excitement, but there's also some nerves there as well, which is very valid, very valid. Before I do fast forward to today and your role as a business coach, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the other hats that you've worn in this network, because you've pretty much done it all at this point in time. You have worked and operated the Far North Queensland region of James Home Services for that 15 and a half years. What's primarily involved in operating a region, just to give anybody listening just a little bit of an idea of the depth of your experience in this network at this stage?
Sure. Operating a region, so I'm a franchisee, just like our franchisees are, and as a regional, you are responsible for building the brand in your region. You're responsible for helping people establish their service businesses, building a team within that region of service providers, and then supporting them, coaching them. So it's a little bit like a mini head office operation. Yeah. So your regional is your regional is your sales consultant, walking people through an information process. They're the one who then coaches the franchisees, provides the support. And we also owned several cleaning businesses and a carpet cleaning business in that time as well, which came about for various reasons. And we had fabulous staff who ran those for us and eventually bought the franchises, which was really exciting and rewarding. So we've sort of been involved in it all. We're part of the marketing, so we work with head office on marketing for brand awareness and service lead generation in the area, training franchisees, organising their practical training, if necessary, doing their practical training, and many days out doing residential and business knocks. Back in the day, we were sent home with boxes of folders and floppy disks back in 2010.
Wow, floppy disks.
Yeah, floppy disks.
If you're listening and you don't know what a floppy disk is, that means you're definitely younger than 30.
Yes,
and it was what we used as a hard drive before we had things like USBs.
Yes, absolutely. It was quite funny. And it was off you go. Off you go. You've done 2 weeks training. Here's all your manuals. Off you go. Go and sell franchises. Go and train franchisees. I had a little 4 or 8 page coaching guide to ask questions and help franchisees and go and be the experts and learn as you go, with a regular sort of weekly check-in with the franchisor. So the support back then certainly was very different to what it is now. And we've evolved, but the system and the processes are very similar. They've just evolved. I think we've learnt a lot on the way.
That is the perfect segue to what my next question was really going to be, and that is fast forwarding us now to today and talking a little bit more about your role as a business coach. And for anybody listening, at a high level, a business coach is somebody that if you come into our network as a business owner, you will be working with a business coach, and that person will help you grow your business. What are the sorts of ways that you think we have evolved, given that you've got the benefit of 15 years of perspective on the James Network? What are some of the key standout ways that we support today that's different to what you were doing 15 years ago?
Sure. There are a number of ways. The first one, I think, is availability of resources for franchisees. We we just have so many resources available. This morning I've been sending resources to franchisees. I've been sitting in a meeting working through resources with someone who needed help with a resource that could change their world.
Yeah. And when you say resources, what do you mean specifically?
Okay, so for example, we have a resource called the Minimum Charge Out Calculator, and that's in, of course, the franchisee file library, which is a library of business resources. And as a coach, I tend to work closely with franchisees on those resources, because when we meet, it's the time to work on the business rather than in the business. So we use that time to go through those resources. And so that's looking at, for this particular franchisee, exactly what does their business have to pay their household every week so that they can live the lifestyle that they want. Exactly what are their business costs? How many billable hours do they need every week in their business to do that? How much do they need to be charging every hour, billable hour, to get that? What are their staff really costing them? What's it going to look like if they scale to 2 staff, 3 staff, that sort of thing? So that's what I'm working with for this particular franchisee at the moment. The other thing we did was Google Business Profile and doing updates, loading photos, because this is a husband-wife team, and the wife has been stepping in, starting to take on some responsibilities in the business because her husband is far too busy with other things in the business at the moment. So, yeah.
That's great. So resources is one area that you feel we have really improved in that last decade. Are there some other standout areas that you think that we really do quite well in now from a support perspective?
I think marketing as well.
Yep.
Yeah, marketing is great. So we've worked a lot over particularly the last 2 years on marketing for new franchisees and getting new franchisees off the ground, lead generation, not only from James Home Services Australia point of view, with marketing campaigns specific to new franchisees and that ongoing marketing, but the change in resources and equipping of the individual business owner to generate leads themselves. So they're not sitting back going, oh, I wish James Home Services would send me more leads. They're actually empowered to go, oh, right, I need some more clients. And I hear this from a number of my franchisees. It's like, particularly lawn guys coming into the slow season. Oh, I've been so flat out. I haven't been able to do my marketing, but things are slowing down. I need some more work. And so I need to do this, 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 and this. And it's all things that we've taught them right from the beginning. Yeah. I will sometimes get a franchisee go, oh, my goodness, I've got a lot of aged care clients and I've just had 3 go into an aged care facility. I need some more clients. I'm going to do all these things. They know what to do because we've trained them, we've equipped them, and they have access to the resources in the file library. So that is a real strength that I've seen as well. And I think the third area is metrics. Know your numbers. We say it all the time, know your numbers, and there is power in knowledge. So someone can make an educated, informed decision because we've got metrics. We know what their conversion rate is from receiving a lead to that lead becoming a job or a regular client. We know what their average turnover is. We know what their costs are. We know where their leads are coming from. So there's so much information that we can pull out of the system to empower them in knowing what marketing is working. Yep. What skills do I need to develop? So, for example, as you're aware, I've had to work with some of our franchisees on our sales skills and building rapport, because when they've come in, we've just identified it's a skill deficit.
Yeah.
And in coaching, we've been able to work on that. We look at the metrics and we measure every 4 weeks to go, what's happening? Oh, look at this. The skills you're learning are working. And that's really exciting because we can measure.
Yeah. Yeah, the metrics have really been game changing in the last couple of years as we've 4 years ago we transitioned to using Salesforce as our software that runs both the head office business as well as our business owners' businesses. Yeah. And it's taken us a couple of years to have enough data collected using that software that we've now got really true benchmarks for where business owners should sit on each of those metrics. And for anybody listening thinking, oh my goodness, this sounds like they're tracking my every breath. This sounds more like Big Brother than my own business. It may sound like that, but there's a very good reason why we're following all this data. And Sonia, you already touched on quite a few of the more practical reasons why we do it, because we're able to identify exactly where you're seeing and experiencing roadblocks in your business's growth and development. And if we didn't have these metrics, then we're just kind of taking a bit of a stab in the dark. And so are you as to why your business isn't performing the way that maybe you wanted it to. So having all these metrics is really powerful for our business owners, because it's not just the business coaches saying, hey, I think that maybe we should be working on this or we should be working on that. We know with absolute certainty, based on what the data is telling us, where those areas for potential improvements lie. And I think that that's a really important thing for us to be able to do from a support perspective. There was also a bit of a theme in the 3 things that you mentioned. And it really did come back to empowering our business owners rather than doing it for them.
Yeah.
Which feeds straight into our whole philosophy, which is around building skilled business owners in our country. It's not about spoon feeding people. It's not about doing it for you. It's not about a silver platter. And it's not about just sending you leads and hoping for the best. It is about giving you, teaching you the skills, walking alongside you while you have this business journey with us. And what we actually hope is that at the other end, when you and James decide to separate in the future, you take with you skills that you've learned from having a business with us, and it creates a better life for you even after James. So, Sonia, that leads me to my next question. Why do you do what you do? It is, you work some long hours. There are really high highs, but there can be some very tough days in the mix as well. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
I just really do enjoy what I do. Yeah. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy working with people. Many years ago, when we had the Christmas tree farm, I took a year off my normal work to build a market for our Christmas trees. And at the end of that year, working on my own on the farm, pruning, and, I met with nursery owners and, building markets, but it wasn't working closely with people. Trees were not great conversationalists. So, I desperately needed to get back to working with people. And it really highlighted to me how much I enjoy and need that interaction. I've always been a help person. I've always erred towards human behaviour, teaching, coaching, that sort of thing. And so for me, I get a lot of satisfaction out of seeing people come in quite nervous, a bit excited, and learn new skills and, those high five moments of, oh, wow, look, you're doing it. Seeing people after 12 months in successful businesses, kicking goals, meeting with people and celebrating, oh, wow, you couldn't do this 6 months ago and now you can. Or, I just really enjoy that. And so many different people from so many different walks of life. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has a reason why they're wanting to build their business. And it's just great celebrating the wins with people. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, sometimes it can be really disappointing. But there's a challenge in helping someone to learn new skills and develop different mindsets. I think working as a coach, it's a little bit like problem solving and having a puzzle on how best to help someone, how best to unlock their skills. Where are their skills? Where are their deficits? What do they need to learn? And how do they learn? And then how do you do that with them? So I think for me, that's the challenge that I really enjoy. And I love hearing people's stories. We laugh together about the crazy clients. We don't cry together, but we commiserate together. And
on the hard days, we absolutely
on the hard days
around our business owners, don't we? We feel it too.
Yeah,
we're so much on the journey. We feel it just as much as they do sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are nights where I'll wake up going, my goodness, I really hope that person can make it work.
Yeah. I do the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's more than just a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it is. So I want to just go back to, you mentioned before that coaching is sometimes about skills, sometimes about mindset. I think probably when most people think about starting a business, they think, do I have the right skills for starting a business? In James, we look at this a little bit differently, maybe to what you might think that we look at it. We actually look at skills alongside mindset. And in fact, we pay a much higher attention rate to what's somebody's mindset. So what are the sorts of things that we're looking for in somebody, and what are the sorts of things that, or what do I mean when I say mindset is important?
I think someone who is really genuinely wanting to help others, to genuinely be willing to get out of their comfort zone and try new things, someone who's willing to take a risk, but also being teachable. That it really is a big one, because you, as a business owner, you're not only learning from your coach, you're learning from your clients, you're learning from every experience that you have, you're learning from your teammates. You have to be willing to go, maybe I need to think about this differently. Maybe I need to change my approach. You have to be willing to ask for help. So I think a bit of humility, yet assertiveness as well.
Do we expect people just to magically have the right composition of attitudinal characteristics, or is this something that we help people with once they're in our network?
There is a certain element of these characteristics that we're looking at before people start, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can teach skill, but if someone is teachable, if someone already has humility, if someone already genuinely is a caring person, then you can teach skill. It is easier to teach a skill than an attitude. We can challenge attitudes, and we have a coaching program to build, I think, a foundation of what are the core attitudes and philosophies that we need to adopt to be successful in our businesses, in life in general.
Yep.
So, yeah, from my perspective, when I am interviewing someone before they're approved as a franchisee, I am looking for attitude attributes as well as a level of skill.
Yeah. Yeah. We do a bit of both, really, don't we? There is no doubt that when you go through our information process, it's a two-way street in our network. We are learning about you as much as you are learning about us. And the goal is that at the end of that process, both of us genuinely feel like we are a good fit for the other. And so one of the things that we are looking for to say, hey, yes, we think that you would be a good fit for our network is some high-level attitudinal traits around accountability and around being able to step outside of comfort zone, challenge themselves, take on risk, learn new things, all of those things you've just mentioned. But there is also elements of our coaching that really does focus on refining how somebody looks at different things that might happen in their life. You know, we talk so much about rationalizations and comfort zones and laws of exchange, and all those are concepts that help us to better understand ourselves and the sort of roadblocks that could be standing in our way whilst we're trying to grow a business. So your role as a coach is so varied, because some days you're meeting with franchisees and you're working on skills. You're really working on how to handle an objection, you know, in a door knock situation, or how to negotiate a quote with a tricky client, or, you know, some days you're guiding on exactly what kind of product to use to clean the bathroom.
Yeah.
And some days you're talking to people about accountability, comfort zones, and taking responsibility for their own actions and the outcomes in their business. It's a tough gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned something before that I want to go back to, and you mentioned it in passing, but I think it's really worth a couple of minutes of conversation around it. What it was you were talking about our minimum charge out rate calculator, and you said that one of the things that we do is we look at how much the business needs to be paying the household so that someone can meet their lifestyle expenses. Why do we care whether the business is profitable enough to actually meet someone's lifestyle goals? Because if we're looking at this in a black and white sense, we should really just be concerned that the business itself is profitable to a degree. Happy days, right? You and I both know we go a lot of steps further than that in our network. Why do we care what someone's personal goals are and whether the business is actually getting them towards them?
Because we care about people. We care about their families. And the business is the vehicle for them to achieve their personal goals, whether that is buying a new home, whether that's getting the car that they want, whether it's, so often we hear, I want more time with my family because that's what matters. So the business is the vehicle for them to have more time as a family. The business is the vehicle for the holidays. The profitable business paying enough money for them to live the lifestyle that they need to live, want to live, aspire to live. That's what it's all about, really. And that's why we care, because we're not just in the business of selling someone a business. We're really in the business of providing someone an opportunity and a vehicle to achieve the life that they are wanting to live. That's what it's all about.
It really is, isn't it? And I think that probably it's very real to say that the reason you and I get out of bed every morning and do what we do, the reason why Greg and Ian do what they do, the reason why Justin does what he does is exactly that. We really genuinely care about the people and the families that make up our network. They are James Home Services. It's not you, it's not me, it's not Justin, it's not any of our head office team. It's our business owners and it's their families. And they give us so much motivation to do what we do every day and to keep pushing ourselves to be better at support and better at marketing and even better at helping them with the challenges that they face, because seeing them get the kind of outcomes that they came to us for in the first place is so incredibly rewarding. And that's why we get out of bed even on hard days.
Yeah, it really is. It's fantastic. You know, when you receive a photo of someone on Christmas Day having a beer, because that's the first Christmas that they've had at home in 20 years, you know, or you get a text from someone because they're at their kid's sporting event or they're going camping for the weekend as a family because they haven't been able to do it before, and now this is just part of what their business has enabled them to do, you know, all those sort of things. Just having a conversation with someone and they go, oh, I now have time for catching up with friends. I didn't have that before. It's really lovely to just share the joy in that. It's really great.
It is. It's an absolute privilege, really, isn't it? You know, and the fact that it's our platform that is giving them this opportunity is amazing, but it's a privilege to have people trust our platform and use it and then see those outcomes.
Absolutely.
Sonia, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I think that that's a really perfect place to leave this episode of The Real Franchise. And thank you so much for what you do, the impact that you have had on, frankly, countless number of families at this point over your 15 years. It couldn't be understated. What you do every single day in supporting our business owners, it's so seen, it's so valued, and there are so many more business owners in our future who will absolutely benefit from your experience and your guidance, and we absolutely adore you as part of our head office team. Thank you for being you and for doing what you do. And thank you for listening to another episode of The Real Franchise. We hope that you join us again for another one very soon.